And we are live. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Well, welcome. Welcome to today's masterclass, where we will be really focusing on the mind and body in burnout and we're really uncovering a holistic approach to healing here today. So, to get started, I thought I'd just go through the agenda. And after I say this, we'll introduce ourselves and see who's here today. But the agenda for today's class is first off, we will be discovering the mind in burnout. We will dive into our beliefs and the real mindset that accompanies burnout. Plus, we get a chance to uncover some of our own hidden beliefs and begin to shift them towards a healthier set point. Following on from that, we will explore how the body shows up in burnout. And in this section, we will be shining the spotlight on how and why it's good to process emotions to aid our recovery so that we orient away from burnout because we don't want to get stuck there, guys. We also get to discover what our current priorities look like, and we get to reestablish them and see if they are still actually priorities to us and if they are still serving us. Really, how can we begin to live in alignment with those priorities, work with them rather than them working against us? And this all feeds into the healing process. And to finish off, we'll be experiencing a nurturing short visualization that begins to cradle us back to health. What both Shirley and I hope for today is that you walk away with a deeper understanding of what's happening in your mind and body when you're heading towards or coping with the effects of burnout, and hopefully start to put you back on the track to healing and recovery.
Yay!
Yay! But to get started, let's introduce ourselves, Shirley.
All right. Thank you, Bianca. This is so exciting. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, me too.
So, hello, everyone. Very nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be in this class today. So, my name is Shirley. I am a certified life coach and a teacher and a nerd at everything about personal development, mental wellness, emotional health, just everything. I specialize in brain and emotion-based coaching to help women really break free from their perceived limits to achieve the goals that they really want to accomplish in their life. So whether it is in your relationships, in your career, in your money, or in your business, healing or it's like healing your relationship with yourself, all of it is all possible. I am good at helping you make decisions, get clear on what you want, take actions, move forward, and really achieve the results that you want to make happen. And trust me, you are so much more capable than you think that you are. So to learn more about my work and what I do, you can also check out my podcast at Daring Living Podcast to hear more.
I love your podcast, Shirley. I've been listening to it for almost a year now, I think.
Oh, thank you.
And can I say, I'm there nerding out with you so badly with the whole personal development thing. We can be nerds together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, totally. So, hi, I'm Bianca, and I am a trauma-informed coach, wellness counselor, personal development teacher, and a workshop facilitator. I am very passionate about, and I guess nerdy as well, about all the wellnesses. So, our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. And I do a lot of my personal coaching with people who are those real relentless seekers. They really want to find out who and why they are the way they are. They're really on that soul's journey to find their purpose and their meaning. So those are the people that come and seek me out, the ones that want to ask the big questions in life. I also, here is a little disclosure, I have a very unhealthy fascination with what information is stored in our physical bodies. And I'm really interested in how most people are super disconnected from themselves. And my biggest jam in life is to really reintroduce people back. So connecting their minds back to their bodies so that people can experience living with both a mind and a body, which sounds novel, I know, but utilizing both to have a deeper, more meaningful, and purpose-filled living experience. So that's where I'm at. So we don't take up too much time, should we get started, Shirley?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's dive right in. Okay, so full transparency though, I have so much juicy content, as does Shirley, to share with you guys today. So I don't want to miss out on anything or forget anything. So I will be reading off some slides. I've got some notes here, and I will be switching back and forth with some slides to share with you as well. So you can take notes, grab a pen, grab a paper if you'd like to take some notes throughout. However, a lot of this stuff is translated over in the workbook, which if you don't have it, you can email us, we can send it out, but that should already be out to you.
Yeah, and we'll send out the workbook and the replay afterwards too.
Yeah, cool. All right, so burnout. What the heck is it anyway? Let's start with a definition. So I'm going to show a slide here. So bear with me with the technology front for 1 second. Okay, Shirley might need to connect me over.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, there we go.
Thank you. Okay, here we go, guys. Burnout. What is it anyway? So burnout is the loss of meaning in one's work, coupled with the mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion as the result of long unresolved stress. So how is that landing for everyone? Let me go back here. So stop that, won't be a second. So as I pointed out there with my fingers, that's what I was pointing, these topics today that we're really diving into, we're really going to be covering the mental, the emotional, and the physical. So to begin, let's start with that mental aspect. And so I'm going to hand over to Shirley here because she's really going to take us through our mind and our beliefs and how they're showing up with fueling this path to burnout.
All right, thank you, Bianca. So let me share screen with you. Okay. Let's see here. Can you guys all see this? Okay. All right. So the burnout, let's really talk about the mindset of burning out, because there is a very specific mindset to burning out that we all experience. And if you are very prone to burnout, there's a specific mindset for that. So, and before we really dive into that, let's really understand how the brain works. So our brain, what it does is it creates thoughts that we have that happens in our brain, right? We have these thoughts that's swirling around in our brain, and they cause our feelings and our behaviors. And a thought, all that it is in the most simple term is that it's just a sentence in your head, right? It is a sentence that exists in your head. And a belief, what it is a thought that you think about over and over and over again. And because you think about it so much, right, then you really believe that it is true. And a lot of the work that I do with my clients is really just noticing all of these thoughts as sentences in our head. The thoughts does not have to mean who you are, and they do not have to define you, right? What we can just kind of be curious about what these thoughts are and really look at them and question them and really pull out all of the beliefs and the thoughts that we have. This is really the first step to really start managing your brain and managing your mind and really create an intentional mindset. And why is this so important? Because our thoughts in our brain, they create how we feel in our body, which drives our actions and our behaviors. And this is why it's so important, because the feelings that we have and our actions, if we really look at it, the root of it, it comes from the mindset that we have. And it comes from the thoughts that we have in our head and what we are thinking about on a regular basis. So let's really look at this, okay? The mindset of burnout. Burnout is created by being in a hustle and scarcity mentality. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, we will dive into it and really talk about this. So first, let's talk about the hustle thoughts. Okay, there are thoughts in your head that create the hustle, the feeling of like you are in a rush and you're constantly running on a hamster wheel with no end. So that's what it feels like. And let me see. Okay. And some examples of this, of thoughts that make you feel like you're in this hustle mentality is, for example, it's the thought of I can keep up, right? Notice how that makes you feel just right now when you're thinking about this. I can keep up. There's always so many things I have to do. I can never take a break. I need to, or I have to constantly be on and be doing more. I'm going to burn out. Even like this last sentence, I'm going to burn out. The fact that you're thinking about this in your head and you're worrying like yourself in your head, constantly thinking about this, guess what? Like this is going to lead you to burnout, right? So really ask yourself, how often do these thoughts come up for you? How often do you think about thoughts that's related to this type of mentality, keeping you feeling like you're in a hustle, in this place of constantly hustling? And what are you thinking about regularly that makes you feel rushed, anxious, stressed? Question the heck out of all of your thoughts. Are they really true? Or are you just creating these rules for yourself, right? There are a lot of rules that we grow up with that either given to us by our parents, by the messaging from society, what the media feeds to us, or over time we just kind of create these rules in our heads without really questioning if we want to have these rules or not, or if we even want to have rules, right? So really use the workbook to guide you through this process of kind of using the workbook to really bring down all of your thoughts onto paper and really question. And there's like a specific step to help you process your thoughts and really look at them in a more clear way. Okay, so now let's talk about scarcity thoughts. So what does this mean? Basically, it is thoughts and beliefs that make you feel like you don't have enough. So it makes you feel like you're in lack, like you don't have enough of something, whatever it is. So it might be that there's not enough time, there's not enough money, not enough resources, friends, love, not enough energy. Okay, notice how that makes you feel right now in your body when you just think about the fact that you don't have enough of these things. Some example thoughts that come up. So thoughts that help you create kind of like make you feel scared and makes you feel like you're in lack. They come in different forms. So it can come in the form of I'm not doing enough, right? This is a very common thing, especially with people who are always achieving and doing more and more. I'm not doing enough. I don't have enough of XYZ. So I don't have enough time, money, resources, whatever it is. I'm not being enough, right? I'm not being enough of a parent, of a partner, of an employee. I'm not enough of a daughter, son. I'm not enough of a friend. These are things that make you feel like you're in lack and that something is missing. And because there's something missing, and then you feel very afraid, right? Notice how it makes you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm in this place of feeling anxious, panic, stress, in fear of not being enough of something, right? And when you're constantly in this mindset, what this creates is it activates your survival mode. It's that fight or flight response. And when you're in this place, instead of really looking at what is possible for you, you're just trying to survive. You're just running on that wheel, trying to survive, trying to, feel like have enough of all the things that can keep you alive, right? And of course, because of this, you will hustle. Of course, you will hustle for your worth, hustle to be enough for someone, right? And just notice how often this is coming up for you. So, answer these questions. The mindset that we were in right now, really notice that does not have to be a place that you put yourself in. Of course, it will be hard to get out of there at first, right? And to start off is to really train your brain to start thinking differently about yourself, about your life, and about the work that you're doing in this world. So try to answer these questions. I'm already doing enough because, right? And then create all the reasons that you can for that. And at first, it will be very hard, right? Because you haven't trained your brain to think about that yet. So now you're starting to train your brain to think differently, to believe differently about yourself. I'm already doing enough because XYZ. I do have enough of whatever it is because, right? Like answer these questions for yourself. And the other thing that I would highly, highly recommend is to simply just practice appreciation. Because when we are in lack and we're focusing on what we don't have, we don't really take the time to appreciate all that is around us. And appreciation it's a little bit different from being grateful for something. So showing gratitude is kind of like, I'm grateful for this because in the past I didn't have this. It's kind of like this mindset. I didn't have this before, so now I do. So I feel very grateful for it. Right? Whereas appreciation is just direct, simple, straightforward appreciation. What do you appreciate right now? Like if I ask you this question, right? For me, I appreciate just the fact that we have internet right now and then we can be on this live and teaching this class, right? There's so many things that you can appreciate immediately in your life, right? This is like a very subtle and very simple and direct way to really shift your thinking from lack to appreciation. Okay, yeah, so okay, the next thing is this idea of I have to versus I want to. And this is something that a lot of us kind of like we are just conditioned to think this way, right? Like I have to do whatever it is that we want to do. So here's the thing, you might not agree with me right now. You don't have to do anything. You really don't, right? Okay, and really hear me out on this. You don't have to do anything. Of course, there will be consequences if you don't do it. And you can always decide if you want to have those consequences or not, right? So, for example, I have to go to work. Actually, you don't have to. You can stay at home and lounge on the sofa and watch Netflix. It's totally fine, right? The consequence for that, it might be, I don't know, maybe you don't, maybe you may get fired. You might not be making money, right? These are the consequences. And you can totally do that if you want, right? And it's really for you to decide if you want to have those consequences or not. And the reason why I say this is when we are in this place where we are feeling like I have to do all the things are like my obligations, I have to do all of them. It puts you in this place where you are feeling limited and you are again like on this hustle, in this hustle mentality, and you are just being pushed forward and you are being forced against your will. Whereas if you think about I want to, then it's kind of like you are doing all the things that you do. You are living, you are going to work, you are doing the things because it compels you forward to really want to do them, right? Notice how this, it's a subtle shift in how you think about your day to day, but it really makes a big difference. And the same thing, right? I have to take out the trash. You don't have to. You really don't have to, right? the trash can be in your home, right? Maybe the consequence for that is that it will smell, or like you can ask someone else to do it, right? Really. And just think about if you're okay with that consequence or not. And how can you take back that control and take back that power back to yourself so that you can take the initiative to really change whatever it is that you want to change. Okay, so this idea of I have to versus I want to. So back at you. Who are you and who do you want to be? Right? What kind of a parent do you want to be? What kind of employee do you want to be? What kind of friend do you want to be? Right? Do you right? So instead of thinking that I have to call this friend, it's more like I want to be the friend who checks in on other people. I want to be the mom who takes care of her kids, right? I want to be the daughter. I want to be the son who is responsible, who I don't know, who takes care of my parents, right? Like really all of these things, really think about how can I change it to from I have to I want to. What are all the have tos that you're creating in your life? Where are you limiting yourself and forcing yourself, right? What rules are you creating, are created by yourself, or what rules are created by your parents, or the messaging that's being fed to you from society saying that you have to do whatever it is. Everything can be your decision, and that you generate the power and take control of what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Because only when you take back control of your life and all the things that you can change and take actions on, can you really actively change your day to day in a way that is helping you, versus being in this place where everything's just happening to you and that you have to do all of these things, right? Really think intentionally on what it is that you want to do. What kind of life do you want to live? And really take back that control back to yourself. Okay, so that is something to really help you think about with the mindset part. And again, in the workbook, there will be more, like more specific steps and exercises to really help you take yourself through this mentality of being in hustle, being in scarcity mentality, to really shift that thinking for you. So let's check in with you first. Are there any questions right now?
Shirley, just while you're checking the questions there,
Yeah.
I just love how you highlighted the have tos versus the want tos. There is so much power and healing and control. You said that word control in there a few times.
Yeah.
If we can slow down the mind and
Mhm.
start to really flesh out my have tos, my want tos, and be able to find that self responsibility of, actually, I don't want to do this anymore. If we can slow down that enough, the power that comes from that is so cool.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And this is really
And
hard.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
just going to say as well that the mindset of being burnt out, it shouldn't be a standard practice, but it really is interfering with the culture at the moment. And yesterday I heard a statistic. It was something like 93% of leaders in corporate environments or corporate positions
Mm-hmm.
all report feeling burnt out. And then obviously from there, there's a flow on effect. They have families, they have friends. There is a toll that's being taken on them. And it really highlights that idea of that hustle culture that we live in. And it's not positive. It's really not positive. So I understand how so many people are getting to this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I really do believe that a lot of it really comes from our conditioning, just from what the society teaches us to do.
Mhm.
Right? It's like growing up, you have to achieve more. You have to keep on doing more and more and more in order to, I don't know, to be enough, right? In order to like get the things that you want. Only when you achieve more and only when you like do more can you be like worthy of a person. And
Mhm.
that's why it's like you have to be in this place where you're constantly hustling. And
Mhm.
like that's just not the truth. It's just like the rules that's being fed to us by the society, by the corporate culture. And like you don't have to do that. It's totally
Mhm.
fine.
It's totally fine.
It's totally fine. Like, let's just break all the rules.
Yeah, that's right.
There are no rules.
We're going rogue. We're going rogue, everyone.
Okay. Yeah. We're breaking free from all the limitations that we created by ourselves. Yeah.
All right. Should we dive into the other parts?
Yeah. Okay. Wait, I really want to show this slide. Back at you, Bianca.
Hey, thanks. Okay, so let's move into that real emotional and physical component in the next section. So when I began doing some research on this topic, I couldn't ignore the fact that the cutting edge of science today is pointing to emotions playing a massive part of the burnout cycle. And I can feel everyone's eyes on the back of the screen like, oh God, emotions, oh. And I get it, it's scary. Emotions are scary, guys. So emotions, they live in our body. So the flow-on effect is obvious that we will show some kind of physical symptoms due to being stressed on our path to burnout. So there is a component of burnout that I would say it's invisible. And that adds to the stress load, and this invisible part is the fact that a lot of people, they're just terrified of emotions. They're terrified of feeling. They're terrified of feeling feelings. And because they just feel yuck, right? A lot of people deem emotions to be negative. So there's also a real physiological component and feeling to feeling emotions. And it's this fear of feeling that really drives people on their path to burnout, because it puts extra stress on them behind the scenes because they're so busy trying not to feel their feelings. So I'm going to show you a little slide here just about emotions, just to get the ball going to see where you guys are at with emotions. So let's go here. Emotions are things that live in our bodies. And a lot of people think that emotions are something that happened in your head, but in actual fact, they're things that happen in our bodies. Emotions have a beginning, a middle, and an end. They have a cycle. They make our body have physical sensations. So when you start to get sad, maybe your throat closes up a bit, gets a little bit tight in there. If you feel excited or fear, you start to get the butterflies. So something's happening down here in the tummy region. So they have physical sensations. The funny thing is we actually tend to run away from those feelings. As soon as we get a feeling, we tend to run away because we don't want to feel them. But we also tend to run away from the emotions that we deem as negative. We also don't like ourselves or other people expressing big emotions. And for the most part, we're super conservative when it comes to emotions. Another point is that we like to make a lot of meaning about ourselves by what emotions we experience. That fuels judgment, and you start to build a character that may or may not be correct. Also, in today's grind culture, we like to disregard emotions. How many times have you heard, oh, just stuff it away, sweep it under the rug, not going to deal with it? Lots. It's a huge part of today's society where we do not like to visit emotions. So I'm just going to stop my share here. Right. So off the back of that, from that slide, we can really see that emotions plays a part in us heading towards burnout. We've established that. And in quite a few of those points, there is a real need or a behavior that we're engaging in to stop an emotion dead in its tracks for whatever reason. We want to stop it. It's this stopping of the emotion that is causing a buildup or a backlog of unprocessed events, which are actually being stored in our physical body. We think that by sweeping something under the rug means sweeping it away, but no. We're just actually cutting it off and storing it in the body, and that is taking up energy to keep it there. This energy consumption is what is depleting your energy stores, which is fueling your feelings of physical fatigue. So now you can start to see this cycle happening where I'm stopping, I'm not processing that emotion or event, I'm going to hold in my body. That's taking up energy. And all of a sudden, your day to day, you're like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. It's fueling that physical fatigue component of burnout. I also want to mention that all of this talk, it is really scary and emotions freak people out. I just want to keep saying that is totally normal. I'm just validating that a lot of people have a shaky relationship when it comes to emotions. We spend so much time trying to avoid feelings and emotions just so that we can get through the day. Many of us believe that if we show just a little crack of emotion, the floodgates are open. We're never coming back. But in actual fact, that's not really the case. It is possible to experience emotions, to get better at them, to practice them. And you can do this in really short, controlled ways that really starts to calm your nervous system. It really nurtures us back to health. Something else that I wanted to highlight is how unprocessed or unfelt emotions are bottling up. As we discovered, they're bottling up inside of us. They bottle up over days, months, years, and are causing excess pressure or stress in our bodies. And that's on top of our regular daily grind and our regular daily stresses. So this also starts to have an effect in the body physically, and you begin to have ailments and symptoms. So once you start to experience symptoms and that fatigue that I spoke about before, this is when you begin to start tuning out as a way to recalibrate your system. And this tuning out, I mean, we do it with our phones. We like to tap out at all costs because most people are on the path to burnout. And here is the slippery slope to burnout. So yes, emotional load is a big component to burnout. So let's just take a quick look right now at some of the physical symptoms that may occur when we start to get that burnout feeling knocking on our door. And for the most part, we're not really listening. So I'm going to bring up another slide here just on those physical symptoms. And you may or may not be experiencing some of these. So just take a look at this list and let's see where you're at with that. So here, the physical symptoms of stress and burnout. Do you or have you ever suffered from, I sound like a doctor, excessive mind chatter? This guy, besides being there all day long, he really likes to show up right when you're trying to go to sleep. Have you experienced that, Shirley? Will not stop.
Yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here are some other ones. Regular headaches, extra heart issues caused by stress, same with the circulation issues regulating temperature, digestive problems. And this one at the bottom, I just want to highlight breath holders, holding your breath. Mm-hmm. It's not something that's spoken about a lot, but I just wanted to highlight this as a symptom of that path to burnout and a few other things, but holding breath is a really great thing to gauge where you're at. So let's stop share again. Hi guys, I'm back. Okay, so after we've had a look at that list there, and if you've got your hand up and you're like, oh, I've got some of those symptoms, I'm guessing that you kind of probably want to know how we can start to turn those tables around. So here are two basic things just to get you started. So number one, let's start to slowly practice emotions. Let's start to allow yourself just to be curious around emotions and feelings. Start to be curious what they feel like, how they start, what their cycle is. So let's just start off by observing or witnessing that you're actually having an emotion. Let's start to pay attention to perhaps how many times a day you start to experience an emotion, but stop it because it's probably not the right time or place. Let's just start observing how you behave and interact when it comes to your emotions. The second thing that you can get started with is let's start to take a look at your life and your lifestyle and really start to figure out what's important to you. And this is so cycling back to what you were touching on there too, Shirley, earlier. So let's start looking at and pivoting your priorities. What this is going to do, it's really going to start to make you feel more fulfilled, connect to more gratitude and acceptance, have more hope, and in general, just start to make you feel happier. And I haven't met anyone who doesn't want to feel happier. So right now, I'd like to switch gears a little bit, and I'd like to do an exercise with you. So this is really an exercise around, let's look at your priorities. We would like for you to walk away today with an idea of the things that are really important to you for you and in your life, so that you can start to shift your schedule to incorporate more of these things. You may already know what your values are in life, but let's revisit them anyway as life shifts and changes. And I'm just hazarding a guess here, that if you're on the path to burnout, then perhaps one of your priorities has gone rogue and is wearing you down. Perhaps it's no longer in alignment with you. Maybe you're operating from an old system. And so let's start to shift that and get back on track. Also, we can't discount that perhaps you've never actually even explored your own priorities, and that these things that you're living by at the moment have been given to you. So potentially, again, operating from someone else's priority list. These are what I like to call designated priorities. They're being designated to you, and you haven't actually figured these ones out for yourself. So these designated properties, I mean, they can come from anywhere, but usually parents, culture, your religion, your partners families. I mean, the list goes on and on. So where you may have picked up these other people's important priorities, not realizing that they're just not your own and that you're not aligned to them. So let's dive into this activity. If you've got your paper and your pen handy, I'm going to start asking you a few questions. I'm going to put the questions up, but I don't want you to be bothered with having to worry about the questions. I'm going to ask them to you. So let me just put the questions up for you so you can see those. So here we go. So if you've got your pens poised, I'm going to ask these questions to you, and I would like you to write down 4 answers for each of the questions. But don't freak out. Even if you can just get 1, that's great. Aim for 4 if you can get 4. And I'm going to ask these questions fairly quickly. So I want you to just write down the first things that pop into your head, because they're generally the most truthful, that are front and center. So let's dive in. Pens poised. Question number 1. What is the space that you spend most of your physical time? Where is it that you are spending most of your physical time at the moment? Try and jot down 4 things for that. Question number 2. Where do you spend most of your energy? Where are you exerting the majority of your energy throughout the day? Try and write down 4 things for that. The third question is, where do you willingly, without question, spend most of your money? The kind of spending you open your wallet, you just give, no questions asked. Where do you happily and willingly spend most of your money? On what? Or who? Or where? Question number 4. What are the thoughts that dominate your mind? What are the thoughts that dominate your mind for the most of the day? Number 5. What are your daily intentions? So when you open your eyes in the morning, what are the daily intentions that just, as soon as you open your eyes, they just kind of flood in there and you're like, right, doing this. Question number 6. What do you spend time focusing, daydreaming, or visualizing about? Where do you go off into your fantasy world? Question number 7. What are your life goals? What are those things that you want to achieve in your lifetime? And question number 8, what do you accomplish every day? We all have a list of things to do. We all have our lists. What are the things that you actually accomplish every day, day in, day out? Because I'm sure there's things that you don't accomplish, but there are things that you do accomplish. So what are those 4 things? So as you finish wrapping up those answers, off the back of you finding out what those things are that are important to you, so you've written down maybe 3 or 4 things, and I'm guessing with those answers that you can see in front of you right now, there's probably some kind of common threads that are starting to appear, some repeating answers that are starting to appear. And it's these things that are popping up on the regular. Those things are your priorities and the things that are most important to you. So if we look at what those things are that are repeating the most, I want you to just spend some time. I'm just going to park these questions here. You don't have to write them down, but I just sort of want to throw them at you so you can think about them while you're just gazing over your list here. One is, were you actually able to find at least one thing that is important to you? Did one thing appear to you from that list that you've connected with? You're like, that's mine. That's important to me. That's a real priority. The next question I want to park is, now that you can see your list written down, how does it actually make you feel when you look at this list? And I want you to use an emotion word. So either joy, fear, anger, sadness, excited, or disgust. They're the emotions. When you look at your list, maybe start to connect in and just think, what is this emotion I'm experiencing in my body right now when I look at this? And the next thing I wanted to highlight to you is, what stands out for you the most when you are looking at your list and you're relating it to your current lifestyle? What's happening there? So as I said, I'm just going to park those kind of questions for you. And don't worry, because in the workbook, there are some questions that drive these same thoughts. So don't worry if you've forgotten everything I've just said in the last bit. It's in there. So moving forward, there's actually some hope. So let's start getting into this healing component now. We've covered mindset, we've covered emotions and the physical aspect. Let's start talking about healing now. So besides slowly starting to visit, accept, and allow emotions and feelings to be part of our lives, we can also now begin to embrace and live by our own important priorities that we've just uncovered. These are the ones that really support you the most. As we start heading into this healing thing, another simple activity that we can do is let's take a look at our morning routine. Many people reach straight for their phone as soon as they open their eyes. And I just want to shine a spotlight on this and kind of highlight the importance of how damaging this can be, and especially if you're already on your path to burnout, and also how by reaching for your phone first thing in the morning is actually fueling the cycle of burnout. So what this does when you reach for your phone in the morning and the first thing you do is put it straight in your face, this affects your nervous system straight off the bat as soon as you open your eyes, and it jolts you into a reactionary state. So what this does, it's setting you up to react in the day rather than respond. You've got no buffer. Your nervous system is already trapped in a reactionary cycle. So if we could just carve out a small amount of time to be offline when we wake up, and I like to call this the analog state, our recovery starts to look a lot more fruitful. So in the workbook, we've put an activity in there so you can design your tech-free morning. What this really does, it just starts to build a buffer so that you can better handle stress and you can start to process better because your nervous system isn't already trapped in reaction. So I really urge you to go straight there after this masterclass, fill out that activity straight off the bat so you can start that tomorrow morning. The other thing I just wanted to briefly highlight is recovery and healing. It doesn't mean removing all stress or living stress-free, because when we start getting into another danger zone if we think that all stress has to be eliminated and everything is positive and everything has to be coming from that place of positivity. It's actually not. Healing and recovery is about learning to process stress effectively and consistently so that we can show up in the world and have a fulfilling life. And to have a full life does mean that you will encounter stress. It just does, because we've always got a balance. But it's how we best manage and process that stress. It makes all the difference. So here are just a few other ways that we can cope and recover from burnout in a human, tech-free kind of way. And these are the ones that I've really found to be the most effective and the most accessible and the easiest to do, because it just involves us and our body. So I'm going to show you this slide. Here we go. Here we go. So using your humanness to heal from burnout. Number one, get moving in any capacity. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't have to do an exercise regime. All you have to do is move your body. You could find something super fun. You could dance crazy around your living room with a hairbrush microphone if you want to, or you might take up yoga or Tai Chi or anything. It doesn't matter. Just move your body. Handstands. You might take up handstands. I don't know. What that does is, this is a little bit quantum physicsy here, but energy plus motion equals emotion. So we actually need movement, physical movement, to be able to process our emotions. We just need it. So that is number one on how we can start to heal. Number two, learn to breathe with intention. And I'm talking to all you breath holders out there. I see you. So just that simple action of a full body breath. We don't have to get into meditation deeply. We just have to learn how to breathe. So inhale in, right down into the belly, back up from the belly, exhale. And just to give you a little a visual, let's pretend that all of our thoughts happen on a horizontal line. Throughout the day, all our thoughts are happening horizontally. They're going through our brain. What breath does, breath runs on the vertical. So the power of breath to cut through and intercept the thoughts and all that mind chatter is really powerful. So let's just start to breathe and take a moment. Number three, connect to others. And this can be as simple as connecting to your barista down the road, or connecting to someone walking along the street. And you don't even have to have a full conversation. It's eyeball connection. Let's have a real eyeball connection so we can feel that human, energetic, that buzz, that vibration. So just connect to others. 4, a belly laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. It recalibrates our system. So laughter, and it's an emotion, it feeds right in there with joy. That's the physical affect of joy. Number 5, affection. Let's see if we can grab a few hugs. I know it's tricky at this time, but what an actual embrace does, if you're embracing someone, and everyone has had, I'm assuming, this experience where you're embraced by someone and you get that, that's the kind of hug we're looking for, that just that settling into self. Number 6, crying. You can't discount a good cry. Again, that's just a physical reaction to processing an emotion. It doesn't have to mean anything. What if we took the meaning out of that emotion and we just allowed ourselves to cry? So freeing, so healing. The next point, create. Let's do art, let's create, let's use our hands, let's use our bodies, let's get that movement happening. Let's start to create. The creative self-expression is a wonderful tool to start you on your healing journey. So all of these things are available to you in some capacity right now. So there's no reason why you can't get this happening. So let's go back here. Shirley, I'm getting so good at my tech side here. Maybe not, I don't know. Okay, so
Doing great.
So I am going to hand back over to Shirley now, but let's just keep those things in mind. Let's switch into that healing mode and let's really start to nurture ourselves. So I'm going to stop talking because I feel like I've just talked everyone's face off for the last little bit. So Shirley, I'm throwing it back over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Bianca. I think the part that you shared is so important because just in general, like so much, like often we are just not in tune with our emotions. I know like so many people who they don't even know that, oh, emotions happen in our bodies. You're like, wait, what? You feel that?
It happens up here.
You feel it in your body? Wait, what does that even mean?
And even like how much meaning people put on emotions, that, you know, and expressing emotions and feelings. It's a tangled world. It really is a tangled world.
Yeah. And then sometimes we think that to feel or like to experience an emotion is something that's so scary, right? And I
Really
love
scary.
how you pointed out that emotion, all that it really is just a movement of energy that happens in your body, right? It's like an energy that exists in your body and you just kind of move it around and to really experience what that is. Like in the very factual sense of it, like that's what it is. And then like when we are afraid to feel it, when we are like in this place where we think it's scary, like that's just all the mind drama that we have created and what we think about emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to highlight again just how easy it is if we take that observing role of, oh, I'm having an emotion, don't make any meaning out of it, but just sort of observe what's happening to you with curiosity as opposed to judgment. That's where the real juice is, that you can really start to appreciate having emotions.
Yeah. 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 Okay. All right. Well, so now I'm going to take you through an exercise. So let me just share a screen with you here. Okay. So I know that one of the reasons that you are watching this, and might be because that you probably have experienced how it felt like to be burnt out. And I know, speaking from personal experience, it was a very scary place for me when I was in that place. And when I really think back to, that experience when I burned out, and I also coach with people who have experience, who had experience of burning out. Like when we really talk about them, why we are so scared and so afraid of that place is mainly because of the shame and the guilt, the disappointment that we feel of the fact that we put ourselves in this state, right? And just be in this vulnerable position in general. And I really want to bring that, and we really want to highlight that in this class to really show you that the fact that you are afraid of burnout, like it might be the fear of burning out, it's something at the back of your mind, right? The more you think about it, sometimes the more we think about it, the more we are afraid to be in it. And we have this concern that's always at the back of our head the more that's actually likely that it can lead to burnout when you're so afraid of it, when you're just hiding yourself from it. Right. So this exercise that I am about to take you through will really help you to take more of a bold step into loving yourself through burnout. Okay. So this will be a very relaxing 10-minute exercise. So I want you to put yourself in a comfortable position wherever you are at right now. If you're sitting, then get seated in a very comfortable position for yourself. Okay. And I want you to close your eyes, knowing that you are in an absolutely safe space right now. So in this moment, it's just us in this space. The connection between all of our love and our strength is all linked together. This space is filled with love, kindness, courage, warmth, all around you and within you. Okay. And very slowly, I want you to let your body relax. Let your shoulders drop. Relax your eyebrows. Loosen your tongue. And inhale through your nose. And hold it for a few seconds. And then slowly exhale through your mouth. Okay. Let's do that one more time. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds. And then slowly exhale through your mouth. Okay. I want you to imagine a time when you feel burnt out. With your eyes still closed, imagine that experience when you're in that space. What has happened that made you feel burnout? Where are you sitting at? Where are you at? And how do you feel? This is a moment in time when you do not want to be there. Yet, you are still there. Possessing the strength and the courage to be with this past version of you. And very gently, I want you to focus on this moment and very gently breathe into this moment. Imagine yourself standing there in the room with this past version of you. You are here in the present with your heart strong, connected, and you're filled with kindness and compassion for your younger self. And you're just looking at this person. That person must have looked so tired and exhausted. And maybe they're disappointed in themselves. Maybe that person is really just scared. And in that person's hand is a box of fear. The box contains everything that your younger self is afraid of now that they have burned out. Maybe this is disappointment. Maybe it's judgment from your family. Maybe it's just guilt and shame. And the person is holding on very tightly to that box. And they do not want to let it go. And that's okay. You look very scared. You don't want to let it go. And that person is you. And you still love this person anyway. Now imagine yourself walking up to this person and very gently wrap this person into your arms. the person still clings very tightly onto this box of fear in your arms. And that's okay. You're soothing this person. You're telling him or telling her that everything's going to be all right. You're going to be okay. And all the power and love and strength that's within you flows into this person. And as you're saying this and embracing this person, this past version of you merges into your arms. This person is you. The box of fear that you're holding on to opens up, and what's inside comes to light. You see your fears head on. You acknowledge them. Fear just wants to be seen, and fear just wants to be loved. Now take another deep breath and gently breathe into your body as you embrace your fears into your arms too. All of your fears are now heard. They are just a part of you. And you put both of your arms around yourself. Your younger self is also just a part of you. Your fears are just a part of you. And you can love all of it anyways. You can love yourself through these fears anyways. And together in your body, you feel a sense of strength and power and resilience that's only created when you can love yourself through your failures, through your fears, and through your burnouts. Feel the strength in your body. Really just feel all of it. As you accept this human experience of just letting yourself feel, soaking up all of this energy from within. You are so much stronger than you think you are. You create the energy for yourself. And it comes from loving yourself at wherever you are. Now, I want you to slowly, very gently thank this experience. Really thank yourself for creating this experience. And one last time, take everything, all of it in, all of this experience that you just created for yourself, and knowing that you can always come back to this place whenever you want. To feel that you have created this energy for yourself. And when you're ready, then you can slowly open your eyes. All right, welcome back. I hope that you all enjoy this. When I did this exercise on myself, it was super, super helpful. And just know that this is a place that you can always be in. And for me personally, I had to, go through this visualization exercise a couple of times before I can really allow myself to really love every single part of me and really embrace myself even through this burnout. And so I find this exercise very helpful. I did this with my clients. It's also been very helpful for them. So I hope that this is this has provided some help for you too. Yeah. Bianca, how do you think? What do you think? Do you have anything?
I do have a couple of things. One, thank you, Shirley. Just with that visualization, just how powerful it is to externalize something just to get some space so that you can really start to heal. Sometimes it's overwhelming when it's us, but if we can externalize it to get started, really powerful. And just with that, off the back of the visualization, I can't express enough how important it is to hydrate today and integrate the whole experience of this workshop. We've talked about some heavy things, emotions, and we've done some visualization and some mind work. Just allow yourself to integrate that experience. Try not to make any meaning of it. Just let it integrate and process however it is. And just before I let you go, Shirley, and everyone go, I just wanted to jump back to something you said just before the visualization. I think it's so important, just again to highlight it here. Let's try and capture the thoughts around, what are you making it mean about yourself if you've burnt out or if you're burning out? Because there's probably something that's coming up that you're making it mean something. So let's try and work on that.
Yeah.
That's the, there's always more thoughts coming up, Shirley, that's for sure. So
yeah, definitely. And okay, so now, well, that comes the end of this masterclass today. So I just want to say that thank you guys so much for coming to and attend this class. This is really just a beginning and an intro to your journey to really practice healing and coping with burnout and coping through burnout. We are both very passionate, both Bianca and I are very passionate about teaching about this topic. And for sure, this work after this class, go and look at the workbook. It is very juicy. It has all the exercises and the questions to really help you explore the mind and the body in burnout and how to start taking small steps to really work through that. And so feel free to connect with us and stay in touch with us. We are both constantly online, providing tips and information to really help you get to where you want to be. And, if you feel called, if you feel like this is really what you need, and you really just want to take all of this material that we just taught today, take it all deeper to learn to implement it, to make it more personalized for you, and to have someone there to point out what you don't see and coach you through this process, then definitely reach out to one of us or both of us and schedule a discovery call. Okay, that is the first step for you to say yes to yourself, to say yes to start changing your life, start having this transformation on yourself. No strings attached. You get a free call to really see if coaching is what you're looking for. Okay, so if you just feel called, then I will really encourage you to check it out and send us a message. For me, I specialize in brain and emotion-based coaching to help women break free from their perceived limits to achieve the goals that they want to accomplish in their life, whether it is in their relationships, in their career, in their money, in their business, or creating a loving relationship with themselves. All of it is possible. I can help you make decisions, get clear on what you want, take actions, and then constantly move forward. So this is what I do. And all of my information is here on the screen for you to check out more. Okay, Bianca.
Thanks, Shirley. I just also wanted to say that off the back of this workshop, and you've got the workbook as well, Shirley and I are really here to support you. That word support, I just want to put out there in this space right now, that what you need the most, and even if it's not us, it's support. Make sure you have your support set up. We're just another two people that are possibly there to assist you, but really lean on your support system moving forward. Again, with that workbook, there is some juicy stuff in there and there's some added bonuses. Don't be afraid that if you get stuck or if you really need some assistance with the workbook, or if you've noticed that through this workshop you've been triggered with something or something's coming up, use us. We're here. Our details are here. There is no investment for you to get in touch with us today. That's what we just want to highlight here. We're available. So please get in touch with us. And then just to remind you of what I do. So I really focus on the integration of wellness and purpose in people's life. You know, I'm most passionate about that mind-body connection and giving you the full experience with your mind and your body. It's, again, that word, that integration of just the wellness and happiness is my priority for all of my clients that I support. Off the back of that, it's people are really yearning for that purpose. They want to find what their purpose is and what the meaning is. And so if you're recovering from burnout, really starting to explore that for yourself is really powerful, putting you on point of what you're supposed to be doing here in this world of ours. Why are we here? Ask me those big questions. Let's start working through those big questions for you to speed up that recovery process. So I think that's kind of all I want to share with you today, Shirley. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again. Hopefully we'll do another one of these.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you, Shirley. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Talk to you all soon.
Bye. Bye.